Your fingers moved quickly over the keyboard, the soft clicking echoing through the quiet room. The faint glow from the laptop screen painted your face in a pale blue hue. Papers and files were scattered across the desk, some neatly stacked, others left half open beside a notepad filled with scribbles. You were completely lost in your work, your brows slightly furrowed, lips pressed together in concentration. You weren't at the office today, just working from home in your small home office. Your hair was loosely tied, and you wore one of your oversized shirts with soft shorts. Nothing fancy, just comfort. The only sound in the room was the hum of your computer and your steady typing, until you heard a soft knock at the door. Your fingers stopped, you lifted your head, and your eyes met his. Jungkook stood by the door, his tall frame leaning casually against the doorframe. He was dressed in a plain white t-shirt that stretched across his chest, and gray sweatpants that hung loosely on his hips. His hair was slightly messy, the fringe falling over his forehead, and his lips curved into a faint, small smile that instantly softened the atmosphere. Jungkook, hey, can I come in? You didn't answer with words, just nodded once and looked back at your screen. He took that as a yes and stepped inside quietly. That's when you noticed the 2 coffee mugs in his hands. Jungkook, I thought I'd bring you some coffee. You've been working for hours now. He set one mug carefully on your desk, close to your hand but not in your way, and kept the other for himself. He looked around your desk, the open folders, your notes, the tired look in your eyes, and felt something ache in his chest. You didn't even look up properly, your eyes falling back to the screen. Yin, thank you. Just 2 words, flat, quick. The way you said it, so distant, so distracted, cut deeper than it should have. You hoped he would take the hint and leave quietly so you could get back to work. But Jungkook didn't move. He just stood there for a second, watching you type again, his chest tightening a little. He had made that coffee himself, sweetened exactly the way you liked, but you didn't even look at it. Jungkook, have the coffee first, he said softly. You can work after. Yin, I will, you replied, still not lifting your eyes. He exhaled through his nose, leaning slightly on the side of your desk, his eyes following every small move you made. He spoke again, this time with a playful hint that didn't quite hide the hurt behind it. Jungkook, baby, it's a special coffee I made for you. His voice was gentler this time, almost pleading. It won't taste the same if it gets cold. Your fingers slowed on the keyboard. You sighed quietly, not wanting to sound harsh, but knowing how persistent he could be. Yin, Jungkook, I'm working. Please understand. Jungkook cut you off softly, walking closer. Jungkook, I can see you're working, Yin, but I'm here too, and you're ignoring me. The sound of his voice made your chest tighten. He sat down on the chair opposite you, his coffee mug now resting on his knee. His gaze didn't leave you, not angry, but sad, like he was waiting for something you weren't giving. Jungkook, you always forget to take breaks when you work. I'm not here to disturb you. He stopped mid-sentence, looking down at his coffee for a second before meeting your eyes again. I just want to take care of you a little, that's all. You licked your lips nervously, feeling the words choking in your throat. A part of you wanted to reach out, just to touch his face, trace your fingers over that little crease between his brows, tell him that you weren't ignoring him because you didn't care. But the moment you thought of doing that, your heart twisted painfully. You had to push him away, even if it tore you apart. Taking a shaky breath, you grabbed the mug he had brought and lifted it to your lips before your heart could change its mind. Jungkook's brows furrowed instantly. Jungkook, Yin, hey, wait, it's hot. Before he could move, you tilted your head back and gulped the entire cup of steaming coffee down your throat in one go. The burn was sharp, but you didn't flinch. You needed to end this moment, cut it clean. Yin, I'm done now. Your voice came out hoarse, trembling slightly. You can let me work now. He stared at you, stunned. His face dropped completely, and in the next second, he was crouched beside your chair, one hand reaching for your face, the other brushing your neck. Jungkook, you idiot, he muttered, voice low but trembling with anger and worry. You just gulped boiling hot coffee, are you insane? Let me see. He tried to touch your throat, gently rubbing where it burned, but the moment his fingers brushed your skin, your whole body tensed. His touch sent shivers down your spine, and before you could stop yourself, you pushed his hand away. Yin, I'm okay, Jungkook. Don't worry. Please, just leave. The words came out firmer than you intended. For a second, everything stopped. His hand froze midair, his eyes blinking at you, disbelieving. Were you really doing all this? To make him go away like this, he stepped back slowly, his chest rising and falling, each breath trembling, as if the air around him had suddenly turned too heavy to breathe. Jungkook, you really want me to go? You didn't look up. You simply turned back to your laptop, forcing your trembling hands to touch the keyboard again. Yin, yes, that single word hit him harder than any shout ever could. He blinked a few times, jaw tightening as he rubbed the back of his neck awkwardly. His throat bobbed as he swallowed, his voice barely above a whisper. Jungkook, oh, okay. I'll leave then. I'm sorry. He reached for your empty cup, his fingers brushing the rim where your lips had been, and turned toward the door. His steps were hesitant, like he didn't want to go but didn't know what else to do. He was almost out of the room when he heard your voice again. Yin, Jungkook. He turned instantly, hope flickering in his eyes, his heart jumping. Maybe you'd call him back. Maybe you'd say something different. But you didn't look at him. You were staring at the desk. Yin, your cup. Drink your coffee. He followed your gaze and noticed the untouched mug of coffee still sitting on your desk. The one he'd made for himself. The small hope that had risen in him vanished. Jungkook, oh, right. He gave a short, awkward laugh, rubbing the back of his neck again. I'll take it. He stepped forward quickly, grabbed the mug, and turned to leave. The coffee inside was almost cold now, but even if it were hot, he wouldn't be able to drink it. His throat was tight, aching with something heavier than just words. The moment the door clicked shut behind him, the silence hit you again, deafening, lonely, cruel. You leaned back in your chair, exhaling shakily as your eyes burned. Yin, what am I doing? I keep hurting him. You pressed your palms over your face, guilt burning through your chest. You could still feel his warmth on your skin, still see the way his expression fell when you pushed him away. Yin, this isn't right. He doesn't deserve this. You lowered your hands, staring blankly at your screen. I have to tell him the truth, you murmured to yourself, your voice barely a breath. Your heart thudded painfully inside your chest, because no matter how much you tried to protect him, the way he looked at you, the way he loved you, it was already too late to pretend that it didn't matter. You tried to focus on work again, but your mind kept drifting back to Jungkook. You pressed your fingers to your temples and sighed. Before you could gather your thoughts, a firm knock echoed across the room. You exhaled deeply. You assumed it was Jungkook coming back again. You whispered to yourself quietly, almost tired, almost promising, I won't act like a bitch this time. Then louder, trying to sound normal, you called, Yin, come in. But the moment the door opened, your body stiffened. It wasn't Jungkook, it was his mother. Your eyes widened slightly, your spine straightened. Why was she here at this hour? Did Jungkook know she came? She didn't live with the two of you, and she had already spoken to you just yesterday. The sudden appearance made you almost jump to your feet. Yin, Mom, what are you? She didn't waste a second, her voice firm, the tone that made your stomach twist. Did you think about what I asked you yesterday? ? It hadn't even been 24 hours. She was already here demanding answers as if she couldn't wait another second. You swallowed. Yin, Mom, I told you I can't give an answer so soon. I need to talk to Jungkook. I am scared to have a conversation right now. She let out a sharp sigh and pressed her lips together, looking frustrated, almost irritated. Listen, Yin, you do know you're the problem here, right? Your gaze fell to the floor. Shame burned your chest. You nodded slowly. A part of you wanted to defend yourself, to tell her it wasn't your fault, that things were complicated, that she didn't understand, but she was his mother, and from a mother's eyes, everything about you probably looked wrong. She stepped closer and lowered her voice. I gave you the divorce papers yesterday. Don't waste my time. Make him sign them. I'll come again tomorrow. You hear me, Yin? Your voice cracked. Yin, Mom, please, try to understand. I love him. I know I am the problem, but just give me some time. A single tear slipped down your cheek before you could stop it. She didn't soften. She didn't hesitate. She raised her voice immediately, dismissing your words like they meant nothing. I don't want to give you time, Yin. I want you to do what's right. I'm asking you again. Tell me you'll divorce him. Yin, please. I begged you yesterday and I'm begging you today. This is about his future. I don't want his life ruined. And on top of that, this marriage was a business deal. You two didn't even love each other. So what is the problem? Why can't you just let him go? Tell me you'll divorce him. Your head throbbed. Every word felt like another weight pressed onto your chest. You just wanted her to stop. You wanted her to leave. You wanted silence, even for a minute. You weren't thinking clearly. You just wanted the pressure to end now. And that's when you made the biggest mistake. You lifted your head and spoke louder than you should have. Okay, Mom, I'll divorce him. Fine, I'll divorce him. There was no real meaning behind those words. They were empty. They were said only to get her to leave. She let out a relieved sigh, almost proud, almost satisfied. I'll come tomorrow. Thank you for telling me your final decision. You gulped, wishing you could pull every word back into your mouth, but deep down you knew you didn't deserve to stay in this marriage. But those words didn't stay between you and her. They were heard by someone standing outside the door, someone who shouldn't have heard them, someone who loved you too much. Jungkook. He heard every word. He heard your promise to divorce him. He heard you say it louder. He heard it with no explanation, no context, no softness, just the raw sentence, and his world broke. Jungkook stood frozen in the hallway, completely still, as if his entire body forgot how to move. His mouth fell open without his control, trembling softly like he had been hit by something he wasn't prepared for. His knees weakened under him, threatening to give out at any second. His chest tightened sharply, and he felt a burning pain climb up his throat. His eyes stung so badly he had to blink fast, but the tears still gathered, heavy and hot. He didn't even understand what he had just heard. He had only come here to call you down for dinner, thinking maybe you were calmer now. But right when he reached your door, he heard your voice, angry, stressed, loud, saying you would divorce him. The word bounced inside his head like a bullet. He didn't know what the conversation was about. He didn't catch even a tiny part of what you two spoke earlier. He bit down on his lower lip hard enough to stop the sound of his cry from escaping, tasting the metallic hint of blood as he forced himself not to break down outside your door. Jungkook. No, what did I do? Why would she say that? He whispered it like he was begging the empty hallway to answer him, his breath shaking. Then he heard footsteps approaching the door. Panic hit him with full force. He didn't want to be caught standing there like a broken man. He didn't want anyone to know he heard something he wasn't supposed to hear, so he stepped back quickly, heart pounding, and then he turned and practically ran down the hallway. The spoon clicked softly against the plate, a small metallic sound that filled the heavy silence between you both. Jungkook sat across from you with his head slightly down, shoulders tight, his fingers lazily turning the spoon in circles on the untouched food. He looked exhausted in a way that wasn't about work. It was the kind of exhaustion that came from thinking too much, feeling too much, and trying too hard to hold himself together. His dark hair fell a little over his forehead, and his lips were pressed in a straight line. You watched him, your eyes following every small movement he made. Each time he shifted or breathed, your heart squeezed painfully. You wanted to talk to him. You needed to talk to him. But just looking at his face made your chest burn. He looked so hurt, drained, almost numb, and you knew you caused that. You wanted to explain, but how could you? How could you tell him that his mother came to you and begged for a divorce? How could you tell him that you were ruining his future, that you were the problem? How could you bring that into the open without breaking something between you both? But hiding it from him wasn't any better. You weren't the type to keep things in your heart for long. But once he found out why his mother had asked for it, there were only two possibilities. Either he would divorce you without thinking twice, or he would understand you. But either way, things would change. You didn't want him to attach himself to you anymore if, at the end, you would only end up being forced out of his life. You kept quiet for a long moment, gathering the courage that kept slipping away. He still hadn't called you for dinner in his usual soft way. He never missed that, not even once. But today, nothing. No gentle yin, come eat, no smile. No teasing voice. Tonight, Jungkook looked like someone who was bracing himself for impact. You inhaled deeply, trying to steady your voice. Yin. Jungkook, can we talk? The spoon froze midair. His fingers tightened around the handle. His throat bobbed hard with a gulp he didn't hide well. For a brief second, his eyes flickered toward you, full of fear, expectation, and something close to dread. Is this it? Is she asking for a divorce? He wasn't ready. Not yet. He needed more time with you. More time to figure out what he did wrong, how to fix it, how to keep you close without losing you. He forced a breath and spoke, but his voice betrayed him, shaky, trembling, trying to sound strong while falling apart inside. Jungkook, let's eat, we'll talk afterwards. He tried to sound dismissive, cold, unaffected, but his voice cracked lightly in the middle, turning the line into something painfully vulnerable. You frowned, leaning forward slightly. Yin, no. Jungkook, it's important. Please let's. But right then, your phone rang. A loud, sharp vibration that sliced into the heavy silence. You flinched, of all times. Why now? You glared at the screen and saw your manager's name. This was important. Missing the call would cause more problems. But turning away from Jungkook right now felt wrong, like abandoning him mid-collapse. You looked up at him again for a small moment, hoping he'd show some reaction, ask you to stay, say something. But he just kept staring down at his plate, jaw clenched so tight you were sure it hurt. Yin, I'll come back in a minute. He still didn't answer, not even a nod. You got up slowly, almost hesitating with every step you took toward the nearby balcony. The moment you stepped away, Jungkook lifted his eyes, fear flashed across his face. He suddenly murmured a quiet, almost broken confession. Jungkook, I really don't want to talk. He scratched his scalp, biting his bottom lip so hard it almost turned red as he pushed his chair back. If he stayed here, he would have to hear what you wanted to say, and he wasn't ready to face those words yet. Not when he had spent the morning thinking about a date, about how to make you fall in love with him more, about learning your habits, about planning routines together. Everything had shifted to fast. By dinner time, it felt like the floor under his feet was collapsing. He stood up slowly, his legs feeling numb, his chest crawling with panic. The thought of losing you, of never seeing you again, made him feel sick. So he did the only thing his heart could handle at that moment. He walked away. He avoided the conversation entirely. After the call, you returned to the kitchen, expecting him to be there. But the sight that met your eyes froze you in place. He was gone. His plate sat untouched, the spoon still resting on the edge. Your brows furrowed in confusion and worry. You called out his name, softly at first, then louder, your voice stinged with panic. You searched the house, every corner, every room, and tried calling his phone repeatedly. But there was no answer. Where could he have gone so suddenly? And why had he left without a single word? You sank onto the couch, your fingers clutching the cushions tightly, heart pounding as anxiety and fear swirled through you. You dialed his number, again and again, each unanswered ring tightening the knot in your stomach, leaving you desperate and helpless, trying to make sense of the sudden absence. Your eyes stayed fixed on the window, watching the sheets of rain crash against the glass as your heart twisted painfully in your chest. The storm outside only made the storm inside your mind worse. It had been more than an hour since Jungkook disappeared, and every passing minute made your breath grow tighter. The rain had turned heavy, pouring so loudly it drowned out every other sound in the house, and all you could think about was him. Out there somewhere, without his phone, without his car, and without a single word to you. Your fingers curled into fists as you stared into the darkness outside, imagining 100 different scenarios. None of them good. He wasn't a child for you to chase around. You knew that. But the thought of him walking somewhere aimlessly in weather like this made your stomach twist. The rain was too harsh, too dangerous, and he looked too upset. That combination scared you more than anything. Yin, why isn't he picking up his damn phone? You whispered harshly, your voice cracking with frustration and fear. You ran both hands through your hair, tugging at the strands as your breath shook. Sitting here wasn't helping. Waiting wasn't helping. You couldn't just stay still, not when every part of you screamed that something was wrong. You stood up abruptly, the couch shifting behind you. You already knew he wasn't anywhere inside the neighborhood. You had checked everything twice. If he left on foot, especially in this weather, he could be anywhere nearby, and probably soaked, cold, alone, and hurting. You took in a shaky breath and grabbed your coat with trembling hands, throwing it over your shoulders, and snatched your car keys from the shelf as you headed toward the door. After barely 3 minutes of driving, you could already feel how the world outside had changed. The streets had gone quiet, empty, almost scary. Heavy rain slammed against your windshield, blurring everything, making the whole place look abandoned. No people, no lights. Your grip tightened around the steering wheel as your heart kept thudding in your chest. That's when you saw him, or at least, you thought you did. At first, it was only a shape, a man sitting on the wet ground in a corner, trying to shield a shivering puppy under his arms. You almost drove past, but then your eyes caught the familiar curve of his shoulders, his soaked black hair, the way he sat, half slumped, like he'd run out of strength. Your breath stopped. You slammed the brakes so hard the car jolted. Yin, oh my God, there he is. The panic hit you all at once. You snatched the umbrella from the back seat, barely caring if it was him or some stranger. Your body moved before your thoughts. The moment you pushed the door open, cold rain slapped your skin and soaked your clothes in seconds. But you didn't stop. You ran straight toward him, feet splashing through puddles, heart pounding with fear and relief tangled together. Yin, Jungkook, you shouted, your voice breaking in the rain. He flinched at the sound, lifting his head with so much heaviness that it looked like his neck barely had the strength left. He was sitting on the freezing wet ground, back pressed against the wall of a closed shop, knees pulled up, arms wrapped around a tiny shaking puppy that he was trying to keep warm with his own soaked body. You almost slipped as you ran to him, throwing the umbrella above his head. But once the umbrella covered him, you finally saw his face clearly. The world seemed to stop moving. His eyes were swollen and red as if he had been crying for a long time, not minutes. His lips were shaking. His nose was pink from the cold. Yin, are you out of your mind? Your voice cracked, half anger, half fear. What the hell are you doing here? Jungkook, why are you sitting in the rain like this? He lowered his head again, a dry, broken laugh slipping from him. It wasn't happiness. It wasn't even anger. It was the kind of laugh people give when something hurts too much. Jungkook, it's funny, he whispered, water dripping from his eyelashes, that you're the one asking what happened. Your heart dropped. You crouched down immediately, ignoring how the water soaked into your clothes, trying to shift closer to him. But he pulled back from you, turning his face away, tightening his hold around the puppy like he needed something to hide behind. You reached out and grabbed his hand gently to stop him. The moment your skin touched his, your eyes went wide. He was freezing. His fingers were stiff, ice cold. Yin, oh God, Jungkook. You balanced the umbrella awkwardly and threw your coat off your shoulders, trying to wrap it around him. He pushed it away weakly. Jungkook, I don't want it, he muttered, shaking his head, forcing out another shaky breath. Yin, just shut up and take it, you whispered, voice firm but soft as you pulled the coat onto him again. You leaned in to adjust it properly, and the strong smell of alcohol hit your nose. You froze, your eyes flicked to his mouth, then to his flushed cheeks. You cupped his face with both hands, making him look at you. Jungkook, are you drunk? He blinked slow, tired, defeated. Jungkook, leave me and my dog alone, he whispered. We don't want you. Your stomach dropped so hard you felt dizzy. Another sniff, another broken breath. His chest shook as he tried and failed to swallow his sobs. You don't want me near you, he continued, wiping his face with the back of his hand clumsily. You don't want me far from you. So what do you want, Yin? What do you want from me? A sob slipped out of him. Why did you come looking for me? He wasn't angry. He was hurt, deeply hurt, and it was because of you. Your throat tightened until you could barely breathe. You slid even closer to him, your knees touching the puddles on the ground. Yin, I'm sorry, Jungkook, you whispered. Please, come home. You're right. I was wrong. I shouldn't have told you to leave like that from my room this evening. I hurt you. I know that. I'm so sorry. Please, come home with me. You held the umbrella above him, pulling it closer so the rain wouldn't fall on his face anymore. You slipped your fingers into his wet hair, pushing it away from his forehead, trying to warm him with your touch. He didn't try to move away this time. He let you touch him, let you hold him, because your apology broke whatever last piece of resistance he had left. He stared at you like he couldn't understand how you were real. His eyes flicked from your face to the tiny dog in his arms, his fingers trembling as he stroked its wet fur. Then he let out a small broken laugh, the kind that hurt to hear. Jungkook, you're mean, he whispered. I loved you for so long, even before we got married, even when you didn't know about the marriage. His lips trembled so violently he had to press the back of his hand to his mouth to stop the sob from coming out too loud. Jungkook, I tried to be a good husband. I tried so hard to make you fall in love with me. I tried to show you that I'm serious, that I'd give you anything you want. His voice cracked completely, and the tears that fell from his eyes were endless. I tried everything, Yin, everything, every damn thing I could think of, just to make you look at me the way I look at you. He looked up, eyes red and wet, lip bitten until it was almost bleeding. The way he was crying made your own tears rush down without control. Jungkook, and still, you want divorce. Your whole world dropped. Your stomach twisted so sharply you almost fell. He heard, but from the way he spoke, you understood immediately. He didn't hear the full context. He only heard the worst part. He only heard enough to break. Yin, Jungkook, listen to me, you whispered, leaning closer. You're taking it wrong. But he wasn't listening. He was gone, drowning in everything he had kept inside for months. Jungkook, you know, I can live without you, he whispered, even though the pain in his voice made it clear he couldn't. If you want divorce, then give me one. I won't cage you. I won't beg you to stay if staying hurts you. His hands shook harder as he clutched the puppy, his shoulders trembling under your coat. Jungkook, just don't make me pretend I don't know. Don't make me sit in that house thinking you're only there out of duty. Yin. Jungkook, just listen. Jungkook, tell me Yin. He looked at you with the desperation of someone whose heart was already breaking in his hands. Jungkook, don't I deserve to know the truth? What is wrong with me? What did I do so wrong that you'd rather leave than look at me? Am I not enough? Am I not attractive? Am I too pathetic for you? His breath shivered, chest rising and falling to fast. Tell me Yin, please, tell me what I should fix. Tell me what part of me is so unlovable that you'd rather divorce than stay with me. Jungkook, you don't understand how much I tried, he whispered, looking down at his hands as if even they had betrayed him. Every morning I woke up thinking today you might smile at me, not out of politeness, not out of respect, but because you meant it. I tried to talk to you. I tried to make you laugh. I even learned how to cook your favorite food so you wouldn't feel lonely in that house. Jungkook, but you kept pushing me away, he said softly. Every time I thought I was finally getting close to you, you stepped back. Every time I thought I did something right, you stopped talking to me again. And I told myself it's okay. I told myself maybe you're shy. Maybe you need time. Maybe you don't hate me. Maybe. He kept talking, spilling everything he had buried inside him for months. His tears ran nonstop, and you didn't interrupt him. Not even once. You let him pour out every fear, every doubt, every insecurity burning inside his chest. The more he spoke, the more your own tears fell, because every line he said was wrong. He wasn't the problem. He was never the problem. It was you. You were the one hiding things. You were the one pushing him away. Every word he cried should have been directed at you, not at himself. But then his voice broke in a way that was too painful to hear. Jungkook, I was never enough for you, was I? Those words ripped through you. You couldn't let him say another cruel thing about himself. Your hand shot out and grabbed his nape, and without thinking, not for 1 second, you pulled him forward and kissed him. He froze. His breath hitched sharply, like the air was punched out of his lungs. His fingers loosened around the tiny puppy, his whole body going still as your lips pressed against his with a desperate, shaking force. Rainwater was sliding between your mouths, the kiss already wet and messy, and the moment your lips moved, he made a soft sound in his throat, like he had been starving for this. He didn't push you away. He didn't even think. His eyes shut instantly, his chest trembling as he leaned forward into the kiss, almost collapsing into you. His lips felt so cold from the rain, but they softened under yours, letting you take whatever you wanted from him. You kissed him harder, your hand sliding from his neck into his hair, holding him still as if his pain would disappear if you kissed deep enough. The kiss grew wilder, wetter, slippery from both the rain and the tears, your mouth moving against his again and again, until you tasted him everywhere. Your tongue brushed his lips, asking him to open more. He hesitated for only a heartbeat, but then he parted his lips, letting your tongue slip inside, touching his, gliding against his slowly, gently, deeply. The sound of the kiss echoed softly under the rain, wet and warm and sinful. And he let you do everything, because he didn't have the strength to stop you anymore. Minutes passed before you even realized how long you'd been kissing. You only pulled away when your lungs burned, your teeth catching his swollen bottom lip on accident before releasing it. He inhaled sharply, breath shaking like he'd been drowning, and you finally pulled his head above water. Jungkook, why Yin? Why? He whispered, voice completely broken. You pressed your forehead against his, cupping his cold cheeks, wiping the fresh tears with your thumbs. Yin, you're not the problem. Jungkook, you whispered, voice trembling. I am. He blinked, confused, still catching his breath. Jungkook, why are you saying that? His voice sounded small, almost scared to hear the answer. You swallowed hard. Yin, you're perfect. Jungkook, you are everything a woman would ever dream of, and I don't deserve you. The words came out heavy, painful. I'm not a good wife. I've been lying to you. I've been hiding things, and I hurt you without meaning to. He shook his head weakly. Jungkook, Yin, no, just tell me, please tell me what's wrong. You closed your eyes for a second, feeling your chest tighten, then you forced your lips to move. Yin, your mom knows. You whispered. She has been asking me to talk to you about divorce for a long time now. His brows pulled together. Jungkook, my mom? Why? He whispered. What is wrong, Yin? He sounded so innocent, so scared, so lost that it made your heart break all over again. You hated this moment. You hated that you were the reason he was on the floor, in the rain, drunk, crying like this. And worst of all, you loved him too. The same way he loved you. You wanted him. You wanted this marriage. You wanted him to stay. But you tried pushing him away because losing him would destroy you. And you thought distancing yourself would make his rejection easier. It didn't. None of it worked. Everything only exploded. So you told him the truth. All of it. No more hesitating. Yin. This marriage. Your voice cracked. It started as a business deal. He didn't even blink. He just stared at you, frozen. But somewhere along the way, you started loving me, and you wanted to give us a real chance. You continued, voice barely steady, and that scared me. It scared me so much, because if you ever found out everything about me, you might hate me. You inhaled shakily. Yin, I talked to your mother about my problem. I thought she would help me. I thought she would understand. His eyes softened, waiting for you to finish. But she didn't, you whispered. She got angry. She said I will ruin your life, that you would want a child one day, and your voice broke completely. I can't get pregnant, Jungkook. You paused, breath caught in your throat, because the way he was looking at you made your chest burn. His eyes were wide and stunned, the rainwater hanging from his lashes. His head tilted slightly as if trying to understand whether he had heard you correctly. His entire broken heart froze in that one moment. Yin, I am sorry, Jungkook, you whispered. I couldn't tell you this. I was ashamed. I thought your mother would understand me because she's a woman. I thought she would talk to you, explain things in a better way. But everything got ruined. Everything went wrong. And I was scared, Jungkook, because I love you too. You swallowed hard, tears spilling. I love you more than you know. And the thought of parting ways with you makes me sick. He stared at you silently for a long second. Then he let out a soft, broken sigh. Jungkook, you love making me suffer, do you? He whispered in a tired voice. Your heart dropped. Yin, huh? He didn't answer with words. Instead, he reached for you with trembling arms, pulling you into him so suddenly that you stumbled. His hold wasn't gentle, it was desperate. His arms locked around your waist, dragging you to his chest like he feared you would vanish the moment he let go. His chin rested on top of your head, his breath hot and shaky against your hair. His heartbeat was loud, fast, and you felt it echo inside your ear like thunder. Jungkook, you should have told me, he said, voice thick and trembling. My love for you is not that weak, Yin. How could you think that something like this would make me leave you? He hugged you tighter, almost crushing your body against him. Jungkook, I don't care, Yin. I don't care. He whispered again and again, each time more desperate. You come first, before everything, before anyone, before any child, before any expectation, before any rule. You are my whole world. How could you think I would look at you differently? How could you think I would ever treat you as less? Your breath shook uncontrollably as you clutched the back of his wet shirt, your tears soaking into his chest. Jungkook, you couldn't talk? He whispered near your ear. You were scared? My love, tell me one thing I wouldn't do for you. Tell me one part of your pain I wouldn't carry for you. You could have told me this on the day we met and I would have still married you. I would have held your hand tighter. I would have protected you harder. You broke, burying your face deeper into him. Jungkook, I love you, Yin. I love you in a way that nothing in this world could ever stop it. Not a condition, not a fear, not a problem, nothing. His voice cracked, trembling as he cried into your hair. You matter more than blood, more than lineage, more than anything my mother said. I don't need a child to feel complete. I only need you, just you. Your fingers gripped his shirt so tight your knuckles turned white. Jungkook, I married you because when I look at you, it feels like home. Because when you smile, my world looks softer. Because even your silence makes me want to stay. You think I would let you leave me? You think I would choose anyone or anything over you? He cupped the back of your head with one hand, pushing your face deeper into his chest. Yin, I'm sorry, Jungkook. I was just scared. I love you. I really do. I love you so much. I never wanted to behave cold toward you. You whispered. He cupped your head gently, his hands warm against your wet hair, and kissed you softly everywhere. Your forehead, your cheeks, the top of your head. Jungkook, it's okay. Jungkook, you're not obliged to give anyone a child, Yin. First, it's your choice. And second, even if you want one, we can figure it out together. His eyes shifted toward the little puppy sitting nearby, drying itself under the umbrella, oblivious to the two of you. The rain had softened now, and neither of you noticed the umbrella had fallen aside. Adopt him, Jungkook said suddenly, holding the puppy up beside his face. He even looks like me. No one will doubt it. See? You couldn't hold back a laugh, the sound spilling from your chest like sunlight breaking through clouds. He watched you, a slow smile forming on his face as you doubled over, clutching your stomach to keep from laughing too hard. Jungkook, you look so beautiful while laughing, he said softly, leaning closer and brushing his lips against yours in a gentle peck. His hands remained on your head, cupping your face as if he would never let go. Jungkook, please, don't ever stop me from loving you, Yin. I promise you'll never regret it. You bit your lip, nodded quickly, and cupped his cheeks with both hands, pressing your lips to his again. Your thumbs traced soft circles over his skin as the kiss deepened, and a smile broke through your own lips, because finally, everything felt right again. Yin, let's go home, you whispered. Jungkook, let's take him too, he added, glancing at the little puppy with a fond smile. You nodded, stroking the tiny fur gently as your heart swelled. Yin, yes, let's take him too. You flinched as the morning light seeped through the curtains, and the first thing your eyes landed on was Jungkook's face, so close that it almost startled you. Jungkook, oh, I'm sorry, he whispered, noticing your reaction. You couldn't help but smile, instinctively curling into his arms, and he welcomed you without hesitation, pulling you closer until you were completely buried against his chest. Jungkook, ah, these are the mornings I've always dreamed of, he murmured, his voice thick with contentment. You chuckled softly, pressing your lips against his neck and inhaling his fresh, comforting scent. Yin, you bathed, you remarked, nuzzling closer. Jungkook, I did. I woke up early today, he replied, brushing a strand of hair from your face. I wanted to make you breakfast. Yin, you always do, you said with a small smile, your fingers tracing circles along his arm. His lips pressed a soft kiss on the tip of your nose, and your heart fluttered until your expression shifted, shadowed by a sudden worry. Jungkook noticed immediately, his brow furrowing as he studied your face. Jungkook, why? What's wrong? He asked gently. Yin, Jungkook, your mom, she's coming today, you said, the words catching slightly in your throat. He frowned lightly, but his voice was calm, reassuring. Jungkook, don't worry, Yin. No, she, Jungkook, I talked to her already, he interrupted firmly, not liking the panic in your tone. He didn't like seeing you anxious. Yin, you did? When? How? Why? You whispered, your chest tightening. Jungkook, I tried to explain everything calmly, he said, tilting his head to look at you with soft eyes. She won't disturb you anymore. She won't come here over this again. You exhaled slowly, relief washing over you. He could really do anything for you, even talk to his mother, a woman who could be stubborn and intimidating. Your heart swelled with gratitude and love. Jungkook, now give me morning kisses, he demanded playfully, leaning closer. You laughed and leaned in, planting kisses along his jawline, his neck, his cheeks, and finally pressing your lips to his. I'm so addicted to you, he murmured, hovering over you as he kissed you deeply. Yin, I love you, you whispered between kisses, your fingers tracing the sides of his face. Jungkook, oh, I love you so much, he replied, capturing your lips again, deep and passionate. Your laughter mingled with his, soft and full of warmth, and he let his hands explore your body, gentle but firm, knowing he had every right now. He loved you with a depth that made the world outside fade, and more than that, he respected you so completely that he would do everything to ensure you never felt anxious or unsafe again. Jungkook, you're mine, Yin. I love you so much, more than words could ever say. I'll never let anything or anyone hurt you. I promise. I'll always fight for you, always protect you, always be with you. Nothing else matters, just you and me, always. Your chest tightened, and tears pricked your eyes, spilling over as he held you tighter. But suddenly you both turned to the side, when soft, eager little breaths tickled your hair, and there was the tiny puppy you'd just adopted, looking up with bright, trusting eyes. Yin, oh, he wants love too, you whispered, running your fingers gently through his fur. The little pup scooted closer, pressing into your neck, and at the same time, Jungkook leaned in on the other side, nuzzling you softly. You giggled as the warmth and tiny nudges from both sides made your heart flutter and your skin tingle. Jungkook, oh, this feels so cozy, he murmured, closing his eyes for a moment, savoring it. Yin, It really does, you agreed, smiling as laughter bubbled up from the pure, simple happiness surrounding you both. Jungkook pulled back slightly, a playful glint in his eyes as he looked at you and the little puppy. Jungkook, come on, let's go. I'll feed you both now, he said, his voice warm and teasing, as if turning the morning into a small, happy adventure for the three of you. You smiled, feeling the gentle comfort of the moment, and followed him, the puppy happily trotting alongside, tail wagging in excitement.